Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to this Zoom meeting. Today, I will demonstrate to you how to use AnyLlingo as a shortcut to Fluency. You probably know that many learners have learned English for many years, and they still are not fluent. And they often say, I know English, but I cannot speak. It's because all 30 methods which we know and use today for traditional English or just foreign language learning, they use a wrong pedagogy. They try to use explicit conscious learning, that is memorization, and they think if they will memorize words, they will start speaking English. No, for speaking fluently, you have to use a different type of memory and a different type of thinking. I don't want to scare you with the many scientific explanations. You will understand much better when you will see this application in action. Before I start doing this, I would like to show you that when you open the application, by the way, anybody can open it free. You can use it free for 10 days. It doesn't require any credit card. And when you open it, you have the option to watch the complete step-by-step manual. It is 22 minutes. I don't want to show you this manual all, but I would like to show you only 2 minutes because it also outlines very well outline of this demonstration. So listen to it only for 2 minutes.
Welcome to your complete step-by-step manual for AnyLlingo. In the next 15 minutes, you will learn everything you need to go from a brand new visitor to a confident daily user. We will start by creating your account. Then we will create your very first personalized lesson. And then we will walk through every single tool in the app. The content page, the translation page, the read aloud page, all 5 training drills, and the fluency assessment. AnyLlingo is not a vocabulary game, and it is not a grammar course. It is a fluency trainer. It is built on one central idea. You do not learn to speak a language by consciously memorizing it. You learn it by training your subconscious. So before we touch a single button, let us make sure you understand what the app is actually trying to do to your brain. Almost every language product you have ever tried works on conscious learning. You memorize a word list, you study a grammar rule, you translate in your head, and then you forget most of it within a week. AnyLlingo takes the opposite approach. It uses what psychologists call System 1, the fast, automatic, subconscious part of your mind. That is the system a child uses. A child never studies grammar tables, yet by age 5, that child speaks fluently. The way AnyLlingo activates System 1 is deceptively simple. It asks you to do 3 demanding things at the same instant. Read the text with your eyes, listen to the audio with your ears, and speak the words out loud with your mouth. Your conscious mind cannot handle 3 simultaneous channels. It becomes overloaded, it steps back, and your subconscious takes over pattern absorption. That single mechanism, which you will meet in Drill 3, is the heart of the entire platform. Everything.
Okay, so now you understand that the foundation of the implicit subconscious training is performing 3 actions at the same time: read, listen, and speak. When you perform 3 actions at the same time, you automatically activate subconscious part of your thinking. And now let me show the AnyLlingo application, all the menus, how it works, and we will even do one lesson together. So when you open AnyLlingo, the first button is content. When you click on the content, you see the lessons. All those lessons are sample lessons. You can set active any one of them, view, edit, or delete. So what is interesting, and there's only 10 samples so when you open it. So what is interesting that you may even say, I may say, that AnyLlingo comes with 0 lessons and a possibility to create unlimited number of lessons according to your level and interest. So it's a completely different approach. So you look at the content, and here at the bottom, when you click create a new lesson, then what happens is the field opens, and here you select the lesson, the language of the lesson, you type the content of it, and lesson, and then you click on Save Lesson. What means type content here? We use AI to create lessons according to your level and your interests. And at the beginning of the content page, you see, if you open content, you see that here are examples of prompts. Here, how we create lessons. For example, generate a 400-word beginner-level English story inspired by The Alchemist, a very well-known book. And when this content would be created by AI, you can use any type of AI. I prefer to use Copilot. You may use ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever you use for this purpose. So you create the content outside of AnyLlingo and then copy and paste it. When you click on the content, the first lesson on the top is the lesson which was created the last. So I have created this lesson a few days ago. I click on it set active, so it is active now. And this lesson, how I became fluent in a year, will use for demonstrating how it can be used. Here I would like to stress, it's much easier to teach using AnyLlingo application because you should not create content, you should not teach. Actually, your main purpose is now is shifting from teaching to coaching, because AnyLlingo creates lessons and environment for self-learning, for subconscious self-training, and coach is needed because this requires so many new things to do. It requires a lot of unlearning to do, and you as a coach will help your students to progress to fluency much faster. So this is the first lesson, and now let's click the next button, Read Aloud. Read Aloud is a function built into AnyLlingo, which allows to create audio file to any lesson which you have created. Keep in mind that here you can select a voice, a woman or a man voice. Here you can select speech rate. And it's extremely important to select 0.75 is a speech rate by 25% slower than normal speech, because the main drill, as I mentioned at the beginning, is read, listen, and speak. And to be able to speak new text from a new lesson, you should record or make audio which is slower, and it is called special English. That English which was used for more than half a century by Voice of America broadcasting station. Special English is a must. Another must, you must use earphone. You cannot use it as a background, and always use headset or earphones. Now, I will demonstrate what it does when we click on Start Read Aloud.
I used to say, I understand English, but I cannot speak. I knew grammar. I watched films with subtitles. But when a colleague asked, what do you think? My mind went silent. I translated every word inside my head. And by the time I found an answer, the conversation had already moved on.
So that's what read aloud function does. Now, the next menu, and I will explain first all those menus, and then we'll start doing drills, the main thing, how to use the AnyLlingo for teaching or for learning English, or by the way, you can learn other languages using the same application, AnyLlingo. You can learn French, German, practically any alphabet-based language can be learned with the help of AnyLlingo. The next button, translation. Here you select English, and then in language to which you want to translate. Any of those languages which belong to the list of support languages, and translate in that language. So for example, for this demonstration, I have chosen Spanish, and we'll see also I have chosen sentence by sentence. And when I click translate, it will translate the whole lesson, and you use it to make the lesson comprehensible. By the way, I will show later, Prakash, for you, although Nepali language is not on the list of supported native languages, but you still can use AnyLlingo and Google Translate support. I will show how to do that in a minute. So that is the translation, very important function, and the whole lesson is translated. You have to make it comprehensible. That is, read the whole lesson, and if you don't know some words, look at the translation. Do not try to remember translation, but just imagine what the word effortlessly means. Esfuerzo, effortlessly in Spanish or in any other native language. So you do not remember translation, but you use it to make the text understandable. The next button, assessment. It's very important. AnyLlingo is the first and only application which combines learning English and assessment. That is, you can measure the fluency rate and progress of your learning regularly. It is of a drill which could be applied to any lesson and any time. What is also interesting that I use a different type of assessment. It's a proprietary, that is patented method of slow speech fluency testing. There are two types of testing. One is here when for testing I use 3,000 most common words in English They are randomly displayed on the screen during the testing. And when you see the word, for example, breakfast, you should not explain me what breakfast means. You should start speaking anything from your experience, which will show me and you that you understand the word breakfast. For example, now today I have a very light breakfast, just a toaster and coffee. I prefer light breakfast in the morning because then I am very active in the morning, and I don't want to use too much food, etc., etc. It doesn't matter what you say. Then you click the next word, and the program will record your answers and determine the speech or fluency rate and show you exactly during assessment. You can also use assessment to measure the words from the current lesson. In this case, you will measure, to say, after you do the drills for the lesson a few times, many times actually, sometimes 10, 15 times, you will automatically internalize language patterns, and you can measure how many words you have remembered and what is your fluency talking about the context of this lesson. So that is assessment. Hybrid is, I wouldn't talk about it now, I will only mention that AnyLlingo could be used for learning for classes and organizations. And in this case, you use hybrid. It is effortlessly fluency backed by cognitive science, and you can use it now. The most important drills. There are 5 drills which we apply to internalize phrases, language patterns from the lesson. And here are those 5 drills. The first drill is listen and follow. If you click on this drill 1, go down and you can start drill 1.
I used to say, I understand English, but I cannot speak. I knew grammar. I watched films with subtitles. But when a colleague asked, what do you think? My mind went silent. I translated every word inside my head. And by the time I found an answer, the conversation had already moved on.
I show here that the first drill is very simple. You just watch the text and listen to it. You prepare your brain to acquire those new sounds, to understand them, to hear them, and then in the next drills to apply and to produce them. So the drill first is very simple. And now let's go to drill 2, highlight and translate. Although we have shown that at the beginning we use translation, but still, even if you created a lesson, there are still some words which you do not recognize. And if you want to make it completely comprehensible, understandable, the words should be translated into your native language. How you do it? You, for example, you don't know the word memorize. So what I do, I highlight it, and the translation appears here. Now, there's a trick. If you noticed, when I have highlighted it and translated it, there was a button copy. So I copied this phrase where there are a few words which I don't know. And now I will show you that if you will open Google Translate separately outside of AnyLlingo, it's very easy to open it. And I will do Control V. Here is the text which I copied, and in this case, it's translated into Nepali. It's for Prakash. His native language is Nepali, and I hope that the quality is not excellent, but good enough to understand and to visualize the content. If you find another place where you need to translate, for example, if you don't know the word mistakes, you see, here is copy. Is for the case when your language is not in the list of supported, you copied it and you can use it Google Translate. And in this case, we click Translate, and here is the word mistakes in Spanish. Okay, so the drill 2, highlight and translate, is very useful to prepare yourself to make lesson completely understandable so you can visualize everything in English. And here we come to the drill 3. This is a cornerstone of the whole AnyLlingo foundation. Read, speak, and speak simultaneously. That is, you read, listen, and speak simultaneously. When you click on this drill and start drill 3, I will show you how I do it.
I used to say, I
I
understand English, but I cannot speak. I knew grammar.
I knew grammar.
I watched films with
I watched films with subtitles.
But when a colleague asked, what do you think? My mind went silent. I translated every word inside my head. And by the time I found an answer, the conversation had already moved on. One evening, I found AnyLlingo Demo.
I found AnyLlingo Demo.
I did not want to memorize.
I didn't want to memorize these words. I wanted to speak English effortlessly.
So I followed the step-by-step manual and created my personal lesson. My topic was personal. My first job interview in English. I used an AI assistant to create a 400-word story about a nervous candidate named Elena. Then, in the AnyLlingo content tab, I clicked Create New Lesson, pasted the story, saved it, and pressed Set Active. That small button changed everything. The lesson was no longer generic. It was my fear, my dream, and my future career in English. First, I used the translation tab only to understand the meaning. I did not try to memorize every translation. I pictured Elena walking into the interview room, breathing slowly and saying, I'm excited to learn and contribute. Next, I opened Read Aloud and set the voice to 0.75x. At first, this felt embarrassingly slow. But soon I understood that a slow speech rate was exactly what I needed. I listened and followed the text with my eyes. Then I highlighted difficult phrases such as I am confident in my ability to adapt and check the meaning. Then came the drill that introduced me to a new technique, simultaneous repetition. I read, listened, and spoke at the same time. Yes. All three actions concurrently. I'm at a loss for words about what First, I stumbled, then I started again. I repeated the story 5 times, then 10. Soon, I stopped translating in my head. The sentence arrived as one piece. I am ready for this opportunity. After that,
After
I
that,
recorded
I
myself
recorded
without
myself without
listening to the
listening to the
audio.
audio.
Hearing my own
Hearing
voice
my
was
voice was
uncomfortable but
uncomfortable but
powerful.
powerful.
I compare my
I
recording with the
compared my
model
recordings
voice,
with the
notice my
model
pauses,
voice,
and tried
noticed my
again.
pauses, and tried again.
Finally, I used the
Finally, I
fluency
used the
test.
fluency test.
One
The
word
words
appeared,
appeared,
such as
such as
market,
market,
and I made a
and I
natural
made a natural
sentence.
sentence.
I want to
I
work in an
want to work in
international
an
market.
international
1
market.
year later,
1
I
year
still make
later, I
mistakes,
still make
but I
mistakes.
speak
But I
automatically
speak
without
automatically
fear and
without
recall
fear
from
and
memory.
recall
That is
from
my
memory.
version of
That
fluency.
is my
Not
version of
perfect
fluency.
English, but a
Not perfect
real
English,
voice.
but a real
Your
voice.
first lesson could
Your
be
first
about your
lesson could
job,
be about
your
your job,
family,
your
or the
family,
life you want.
or life you
Make it
want.
personal.
Make it
Press
personal.
set
Press
active.
that active.
Then read,
Then read,
listen,
listen,
and speak.
and speak.
Thank you,
Thank you,
AnyLlingo,
AnyLlingo,
for helping
for
me
helping
become
me become
fluent
fluent
in such a
in
short
such a
time.
short time. We have done the whole lesson here. It may sound maybe confusing first because it's not usual activity. The so-called simultaneous repetition is a patented method, and anybody who would like to use it actually with AnyLlingo have to ask. You can use AnyLlingo without any licensing or permission, but if a company wants to create a product like this, they will have to ask for licensing because it's a patented approach. When you do three actions at the same time, you activate a different type of memory. It is called procedural memory. It's the memory which is used by musicians, by sportsmen, by figure skaters, by many professions where we need automaticity. Automaticity or internalizing language patterns could be done only if we activate this procedural memory. It's a different type of memory. All current traditional methods use so-called declarative memory or the working memory, which has a very famous feature to forget. And very soon you forget everything. It is done to protect us because otherwise we would be overwhelmed. We wouldn't be able to function. So that is drill 3, the most important drill. You do this drill many times, but it is not boring because you do 3 actions. It's unusual. And it is like, drilling something, doing something, and you feel that with each repetition, you can do more and more clearly and accurately. If some words you cannot repeat concurrently, omit them. You will do them next time. After 5, 10 repetitions, these language phrases in this lesson will become your own. Your brain will develop a capacity to produce those phrases automatically. So whenever you want to express your thought about that, the expression of that sort of speech will be automatic. Next drill, drill 4, record and compare. When you click on drill 4 and go to the bottom, you see here start recording. So when we start recording, you go to the text and record. I used to say, I understand English, but I cannot speak. I knew grammar. I watched films with subtitles, but when a colleague asked, what do you think? My mind went silent. I translated every word inside my head. And by the time I found an answer, the conversation had already moved on. stop recording. Now we may play recording. You go to the text and record. I used to say, I understand English, but I cannot speak. I knew grammar. I watched films with subtitles, but when a colleague asked, what do you think? My mind went silent. I translated every word inside my head, and by the time I found an answer, the conversation had already moved on. Now, you can save this recording and send it to your friends or a teacher if you have a guide or coach who helps you. It's very useful. And the last drill, we mentioned it briefly, and now let's select vocabulary mode or from the pasted text. Let's select from the pasted text. So we select the second mode of assessment, and if I click Start with Flow Speech Fluency Testing, it's selected from the lesson text the word and shows me on the screen. Usually before you start, click on the button Start Recording, I recommend to think a few seconds what you will talk about from your experience. It doesn't mean that you have to explain me what hearing means or anything. Just say anything which starts with the or contains the word hearing. When I was hearing English movies before, I couldn't understand them first because my fluency was not good enough. By the way, do you know that your fluency must be at a very high level to pass standardized tests? And hearing is a very important part of your learning process. Stop recording, the next word appeared. You start recording. I want to stress again and again that language is not knowledge to be memorized. It's a skill to be trained. And by the way, what will sound controversial, that your fluency depends only on your ability to use procedural memory. Only you can develop fluency. Fluency cannot be transferred from a teacher. And that's why teachers, however experienced they are, cannot transfer their fluency to their students. It doesn't matter what you say, the next word. You click on the word in the lesson which you don't understand, and it will be translated. As I have shown you, you can use this function not only for those languages which are in the list of supported native languages, but also for languages which are not supported, for example, Nepali or Khmer language or any other language, and use Google Translate to translate it and make it understandable. And then you work with drill 3, the main drill which helps you to develop fluency. The next word appeared and so on and so forth. When I will not show you and take time. Now, so I will show as if I don't know all the other words, and we'll go to the word 20, and it shows me just based on the recording of the 3 words which we recorded, the program determined our speech rate is 101.5 words per minute. And it had shown also that we know only 3 words because we clicked on every word which we don't know. So that's how assessment works. Now, we have completed all 5 drills, and that is basically everything. If you click on your account, you will see that you will need to sign up for the AnyLlingo program, and our subscription price is very low. It's only about 20 cents per day. That is $5.99 per month. You can even save more if you take annual subscription. Well, that's all what I wanted to show with you about AnyLlingo. And now I am ready to answer all your questions. If you have any questions, Prakash, if you are here, can you unmute your
Yeah,
phone
yeah,
and
sure.
ask your
So,
question? Yeah, what is your
yeah,
reaction? What do you think? Have you understood it? How do you feel? What is AnyLlingo now? Do you understand it more?
yeah, I feel like when we start to replicate it or practice it, it will be really impactful for developing fluency. And I really enjoy like how you are, like helping to navigate the skill of fluency. Even in Nepal, many are very accurate in English, but less frequent and less fluency means they do not have that practice. And I really enjoyed like reading and speaking together. That practice I did never before. So I think I feel like, oh, if I practice it, I can like share to others how we can make it practical in our schools and institutions. So I really loved it. And I'm sorry, like sometimes my network was lagging and fluctuating, but I hope you will send me the recording also, and I will rewatch it again. And then I want to know like how I can be like a focal person for this representing for Nepal. I want to do it.
Yes, of course you can do it. And more than that, what I suggest and to teach with it is much, much easier because you should not create the content. You should only help them to change their vision, to their understanding. And to represent any lingua Nepal, it would be great. More than that, I think that we can create another Zoom session for those teachers or learners which you would find who will be willing to use the new method to develop fluency much faster. I want to mention here one thing. Well, the beginner learners usually speak very slowly. Even if they can read and write in English perfectly, their fluency is usually about 50 or 60 words per minute. Having this speech rate, it is not possible to pass standardized tests or to apply for work in English or to apply to study in English-speaking country. Your fluency rate must be more than 2 words per second, which means about 100 or better, even 120 words per minute. and to improve, to grow that fluency from 50 to 120, extremely difficult by traditional methods, and extremely easy by using this simultaneous repetition approach. So it's very easy to teach, it's very easy to learn, and more than that, you can use AnyLlingo also for vocational training. When you have intermediate level and you know your fluency is about 90 words per minute, then you can create lessons about the topic which you are working for example, medical, or you want to become a dental assistant, or to work with AI, or whatever you wish. You create special vocational texts in and bring it into AnyLlingo and use it for vocational training. It's a multifaceted program, which is very useful for equally useful for teachers and learners. I hope you will use it, understand it more, and become to spread, to implement AnyLlingo in Nepal. Any other
Amazing.
questions?
Yeah, how can I get access it? Like I need to subscribe by paying, or is there any
There's no
payment?
special requirements. You go to anylingo.net and you subscribe. First, you can use it for 10 days free, and then you subscribe. Select a monthly or annual subscription, and that's all what is needed. By the way, for your students, the same thing. They don't need any special permission. They need a subscription, and you understand that it is extremely inexpensive, and there is nothing additional is required. Only your help, because it's not easy to understand what I have explained to you now. You were somehow prepared because probably you read my post, you read a few articles, you were prepared, and I made the main explanation now in this video. But your learners would not be prepared. If they simply occasionally or by a random open AnyLlingo and start using it, my experience tells me they would not be successful because it requires a different approach. And somebody, that is you, have to explain them how to do it correctly. That is your main objective. You don't need any special contracts, licensing, or permission. That is, again, a great thing in it. You will need licensing if you want to be a solely representative in Nepal. That's probably a yes. We have to
Yeah,
discuss and make a contract. And what I can also tell you that if you become a representative of AnyLlingo in Nepal and implement it, and invite different teachers, do work groups, and we also have a program that some portion of the income AnyLlingo gets from your subscribers will be returned to you. Usually it's about 20% goes back to you. So there is a
oh,
financial interest as well.
amazing. I love it.
You're most welcome. I'm glad that you liked it. I hope that Donna also liked it, and she will watch the recording and express her view in her message. Thank you. Thank you. If you have no other questions, I will end this session.